Hello, everybody, and welcome to our live webinar today, Enhancing Your Virtual Tax Office. And Anthony, if you move on to the next slide, we can see, of course, the panelists for today. And then we have, of course, Synex and Textalin joining us well to present on topics that will enhance the virtual tax office, so business texting for tax preparers and remote online notarization. So Anthony, let's move on to the next slide, which is the agenda topics for today. We have, of course, the virtual tax office is the main topic for the webinar, but within the virtual tax office, we'll discuss what makes it a virtual tax office, what are some of the things that you can take advantage of as a professional, so things like electronic signatures, secure document storage, mobile taxpayer interview tool, client portals, and as I mentioned, business texting and remote online notarization. So Anthony, you are a practicing enroll agent. You have been for over a decade, as I understand it, and you have participated in both sides of the industry as a practicing enroll agent, as well as now on the software side of the industry, where you get to show the solution, address problems, understand challenges, and help tax preparers, improve their productivity and increase their efficiency. So from your perspective, knowing both sides of the industry, tell us about the virtual tax office. What is it, and what is a one-on-one of virtual tax office?
Absolutely. So the virtual tax office, powered by TaxWise Online, it's a browser-based solution, tax preparation or tax compliance solution that helps you and your tax office to have no actual computer requirements as far as having a Windows-based or a software installation or anything like that. You can use this product on a Chrome, a Mac, so it really reduces the cost, the barrier of entry on running a tax office. It does have secure way to file, secure two-way file sharing, so you'll be able to easily share documents with your clients. And I want to actually use this these pictures over here, Luis. You picked some great pictures for these PowerPoints. We're looking directly at this. You can see a great example of a tax professional on a tablet going over a tax return with a client. You can definitely see that. It looks like she's probably getting a big refund. That's why she's smiling. You can definitely see in the middle picture over here where it looks like a young lady is actually preparing the return utilizing TaxWise Online from the office. Then also on the go. For your clients that are on the go, they live very, very busy lives, being able to send those documents to you in a very good fashion, in a secure fashion as well, using our TaxWise mobile solution. So this is a great picture of the virtual tax office, Luis, where you're using cloud-based technology. It's secure. You're reducing your office costs. And let me just say this: my wife last year, she had bought a Chromebook, and even for the kids, we bought a Chromebook because they were doing virtual learning, working from school, from home, and it hit me that they could run a TaxWise tax office from a $200 Chromebook. That's amazing. I remember back when I used to practice, we used to spend $700 or $1,000 for a laptop or a computer, but literally from a Chromebook, a Google Chromebook or an iPad, they can access their virtual tax office. So definitely it's a great solution, and we want to make sure we spend some more time today talking to you a little bit about it. So we're going to do a good overview of TaxWise Online. We're going to walk you through what that browser-based tax preparation solution looks like operating your firm. We're just going to walk you through what it looks like to have in-person remote signature. Absolutely. So have that in-person or the actual e-signature. We're going to walk you through that process. In addition to that, we're also going to walk through the online document storage tools that we have. So I'm going to come over here and share my screen out with you. And I want to walk you through what is it like to use TaxWise Online. Actually, I'm starting out in that actual returns. You'll see over here, it's a browser-based tax preparation solution. And let me do this here for a moment. Let's actually start off and come over here to the dashboard. And let's actually start off with a brand new return. So I'll show you some shortcuts. A lot of our customers, they like this functionality to have this actual shortcuts over here to start a new return, open an existing return, or check return status. And the reason why is because instead of them clicking over here on tax returns where they can see all the returns, you got to think about it. You're in your tax office, you've got practitioners, and you also have customers that may be looking at your screen. So you have a great way to hide sensitive information by being able to start a new return without having to come to the tax return manager. Now, we're looking at the return manager. Let's say, hypothetically, you got a phone call from a client and they're inquiring about their refund. They have some information, and you're in your tax office, you're doing 200, 300, 400, 500 returns in your tax office. You have an opportunity to get information about a client called a return summary without having to open the tax return. So let's say hypothetically a client calls and they're trying to fill out their financial aid, their FAFSA form, and they're trying to figure out, hey, what's my AGI? So they call your tax office, Luis, and they say, Luis, I need to know what my AGI is because I got to fill out my FAFSA for my daughter. She's going back to school. Absolutely. From the return summary, you'll see the $25,000 is her AGI. You can see what taxable income is. If he or she was eligible for EIC, you can see that. But this is good information that you can see without having to open the return. Now, this is applicable on the state level as well. If I can click right over here, I can see information about the state return. Now, if you did e-file that return, you can see if that return was if the return was accepted or rejected. You can definitely see what stage that is in, and also get some demographic information about that particular taxpayer. So this is very helpful. Now, keep in mind too, you folks are running a pretty busy tax office. I mean, I can imagine how busy you are during tax season. So right over here, you have an opportunity to click on the return to see client notes and post client notes. So let's say that you're working with Mr. Anthony, and Mr. Anthony, he's having a hard time getting his tax documents. So he calls the tax office and he's saying, hey, I'm having a hard time getting my tax documents. I'm still missing information. You can keep up with the notes, and you can see you've been working with Mr. Anthony since May getting his tax documents, and he's always kind of been giving some kind of a challenge or excuse. So definitely can add the notes and just kind of keep up with this. Still waiting on IRS transcript. Client called in. So you have an opportunity to add a return notes to the return without even having to open the tax return. You can hit save, or you can go ahead and print these notes. So it's a great way to kind of keep up a running tab of what's taking place with those clients. Now, without any further ado, I want to go ahead and start a brand new return with you and show you what it's like to actually utilize TaxWise Online. So I'm going to go ahead and enter this information in. Now, if you're doing a W-7 or if you're doing a W-7 and you had to apply for I-10, we do have that opportunity for you to do that within TaxWise Online. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use a familiar number. How many of you folks know what that number is? 007, right? All right, let's go ahead and put this information in. 876. So we got to put that social security number in twice. Now you have an opportunity to start from the interview mode. So that's great. And I'll show you interview mode in just a second, or you can start from the tax forms. I'll click over here starting on the tax forms. But for those folks, maybe you have new practitioners, folks that are new, this is their first tax season. I remember when it was my first tax season, and I pretty much did every return in interview mode. Now what you're looking at right now is something called the main information sheet. So this is the foundation of that return. So that client name, client information, all that information comes over here. I want to show you the left-hand side of the page. TaxWise has the forms listed over here. Now, something very important about these forms, you're going to see some forms that have green check marks. And you're going to see some forms that have red exclamation points. And what that's indicating to us is that the green check marks, that means that everything that we need is on that particular form. That's clearly what that means. But the forms with the exclamation points, that means that we're missing information. All right, so one of the things I'll do over here is I'll walk you through what this process looks like. Now, if you're also new to the industry, like maybe this is going to be your first tax season, you're hiring some rookies, some people that's their first tax season, we have a full interview mode that you can train your staff, that your team members can go through this interview mode and answer questions about their name. You can put their filing status in here, and you can actually prepare the return utilizing interview mode down to the point where you're printing signature pages and things of that nature. So it's a very helpful tool to use for your new staff. So I'm going to switch over to the forms. Let's go back over to those forms. And keep in mind, folks, we're using our virtual tax office in here, working in that web browser. And just because it's in a web browser, that doesn't mean that you're losing any speed. We know, you have many clients, hundreds and hundreds of clients that you got to get done within a matter of 2 months. I'm going to show you a fast way to be able to use this tool. So you'll see the red over here. That red indicates that this is a required field. In addition to that, how many folks on this call speak Spanish? Anyone bilingual? Luis, I know you speak Spanish. If I clicked right over here, I can change the interview process, or I can change the worksheets to be in Spanish, and I'll be able to actually prepare the return. So if I'm better and more comfortable with speaking Spanish, reading Spanish, absolutely, why not prepare the return in Spanish, right? So we can definitely do that in here. Or, I remember I used to work at the Latin American Association, Contabilidad, and I used to do accounting there, and we used to prepare returns for the Hispanic community, lower income Hispanic community individuals. And even though I didn't speak Spanish, it would have been fantastic to be able to prepare the return, but to be able to print that return in Spanish. And any of you folks have clients that are in Puerto Rico, of course, 1040 Puerto Rico returns. And if you have any non-resident returns, 1040 NR returns can be printed as well. All right, so let's walk through this process of preparing a return in TaxWise Online. And Luis, just let me know how I'm doing on time. You can put something in the chat, or you could just say something. I just want to make sure that I'm being respectful to our guests' time and make sure
No, we're
everyone.
doing great on time, Anthony. And I love what you're showing with the browser-based solution. And if you can speak to, as you enter information, as to the differences between online, browser-based, virtual tax office, cloud-based, it's all the same, but people think it's different, isn't it?
Absolutely. People think it's different. The cloud, really what this means, the cloud is that the tax engine, the tool that's on your machine that's calculating the return, it's not on your computer. So you're not restricted to the power of your computer. You're utilizing the cloud, you're using our technology, our servers, everything like that. So that's really what's happening, and you're not having to worry about backups and data retention. So God forbid if something happened, if you had a fire or something like that happen at your location, as long as you have all your documents here, you can store those documents directly here in the vault. Those tax documents you have an opportunity to import and store over here. If I was to grab some documents over here from the vault, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my documents over some of my TaxWise documents over here. And as long as you have those tax return documents listed right over here, like the client's driver's license, their W-2, things of that nature, I can grab these two documents, click open. And once I go ahead and click open, like I grab the client's W-2, I can store these items here in the vault rather than it being stored on my physical computer. So perfect example, here's a great example of a W-2. I'm going to open up this W-2. And what we have an opportunity, or what we provide you the opportunity with this W-2 is to take this information, this $20,000 in W-2. Should I manually enter this information into the software? Absolutely not. We definitely don't want to have to manually enter it. Let's use the OCR technology. Let's scan the document. So with TaxWise Online, pretty much just about every single TaxWise Online gives you an opportunity to be able to scan in W-2s and 1099s and import that information into the actual software. So that's definitely something that you can do. So this is a great time savings tool. So in addition to having your red underlines that can help navigate you and guide you through the process, you have an opportunity where you've got your OCR technology working for you. I'll give you a great example. Here's those lines. You can see the address from the W-2, the wages, the federal withholding, all that information you're seeing right over here. So once I simply click import, that information simply gets added to the return. I'll close it. Notice what it did. It added the schedule 1, 2, and 3 based off what we have. It read that actual W-2, so you can see it put the employer's information in there. We've got the wage of $20,000, the federal tax withheld. So it's pretty much mirroring this W-2 that I have right here. So this saved me some steps, and that's what TaxWise is about. It's about saving you some steps in that preparation process. We want to make sure that we're doing that for you. And same thing too with your red underlines. Which definitely with your red underlines. We also have a zip code database. If I hit right over here, enter a zip code, and I'll enter in 301. Matter of fact, I'll enter in 90210. Where's the 90210? Beverly Hills, California, right? So that's another time-saving tool that I could enter in that zip code, and it's going to populate the city and state. And then I can just hit Control E on my keyboard, and it'll move me to the next required field. I think I hit Spanish by accident, right? So I want to make sure that I'm just addressing these items for you, just showing you the smooth way that you can interact and work with inside TaxWise Online. Now I want to make sure that I go ahead and walk you through the actual the diagnostics in TaxWise Online. So those diagnostics, if I click diagnostics right over here, you'll see the diagnostics populate. And it's beginning to show us exactly what's going on in that return. It's telling us there's something on the main information sheet. It's telling me, hey, I didn't click my filing status. I forgot to select filing status. So it's bringing to my attention things that I've skipped and I forgot to do. So it's just letting me know that. One great warning, it's saying that there's a refund in this tax return. Absolutely there's a refund. There's a pretty significant refund. This client didn't get any of their recovery rebate. They got no stimulus, and they had a lot of Fed withholding. This client's going to have a great refund, right? Well, it's telling us that there is a refund in return and no direct deposit information has been filled in. So just giving us that warning, and that's what you would like for your tax preparation software to give you that warning of things that you may be missing in your preparation process. So we just wanted to take a few moments to bring that over to your attention. So we talked about having TaxWise Online, we talked about having the vault, we talked about those items, but what about when you're finished with that tax return? What's the next step in the process? When you've completed that return, don't you want to get that return electronically signed? So I've got a return here. I'll show you where the e-signature process actually looks like. I'll go ahead and pull one up here for you. and I'm pulling up a return that I used to present before called Mr. Tony Smith. And with Mr. Tony Smith's return, what I'm doing over here is I'm actually going to click on the e-signature option. And when I select that e-signature option, it's going to bring up this box right over here. And there's a couple ways we could address it, whether it's in-person or remote signature, whether the client's in your office or not, if they want to sign on your device, you want to use a Topaz pad. But when you click submit, essentially what happens is an email gets sent to your client, right? So we partnered up with AsureSign. The reason why we use AsureSign is just to help keep the cost significantly low for e-signature. Reach out to your sales consultant to find out exact pricing, your account manager to find the pricing for that e-signature. Now, this is your client. Now, I'm going to be your client. I'm going to be your client right now. And your client's going to click over here, click on begin signing. And when they click on begin signing, we'll go ahead and sign that option. And they'll start signing that tax return. And just takes a few seconds. So they're going to go through and absolutely, of course. Now, let me just say one thing. If you chose for the client to sign remote, it would prompt them to go through the knowledge-based authentication questions. That's meaning where they're going to validate their identity, that they lived on this street at this particular time. They would validate their identity and say they are who they say they are, and then they could begin signing. Now, how many of you folks in here do bank products? Anyone in here do settlement solutions, bank products? Anyone TPG, Republic, Refund Advantage, EPS? You can use the e-signature not only just for the actual 1040s, but also to sign the bank disclosure paperwork, the paperwork for the bank product. So I'm applying the signature. I'm being your client. I'm signing this return right now, right? But also I can, if I wanted to, I can have the bank disclosure information for the bank, and they can sign that. So they can do the bank product remotely. They're going to have to provide you with their ID and that information, but they can go through that process and sign the 8879. Once they finish signing the 8879, what happens? They can access a copy of it, but what happens to your copy? Where does it go? Does it just disappear? No, it doesn't disappear. That actual tax document comes over here. That sign return automatically comes over into this area called the vault. And you can see I got a couple of copies of those, but it automatically comes over here into the vault, and you'll see the signed copy of the tax return. You can see the notification envelope completion report letting us know it's been completed. And then you can see the actual, oops, I clicked on the wrong one. You'll see that the tax return, we also provide an envelope completion report, so just so you can know if the client had multiple attempts, maybe they failed it or something, maybe they failed to sign it correctly. Just a little report that we provide in there, but you'll see right over there the client's signature, they signed that tax return. All right, so a lot of great tools to help you to run your virtual tax office, whether you're using online document storage, in-person, remote signatures, and browser-based tax preparation solutions.
Anthony, in a couple of questions in the Q&A from customers asking about the online vault, interested to know whether those documents that you stored in the vault, either by you doing it manually, W-2s, 1099s, or the signed copy of the tax return, whether that information will carry over to the following year, and then you have all those documents together year after year, or if they would stay within that year forever. So I've been answering those questions. Of course, the documents will stay within the year. So the W-2 for year 2019 will stay in the tax return for 2019. So if you start with online in 2020 and then you move on to working with online in 2021, you'll keep all of those documents in 2020. So when you open a prior year tax return, those prior year tax documents will stay there for as long as you are a TaxWise customer. So essentially, you're keeping yourself from having to save and store all of those documents physically year over year, because everything will be stored digitally, which is beautiful. I know many of you tax professionals have filing cabinets and filing cabinets of documents. You don't have to do that anymore. So a lot of action in the Q&A. Keep sending those questions. I'll keep answering the questions in the Q&A. Anthony, let's move on and talk a little bit about what the next step is. So we level set our knowledge on what a virtual tax office is and what the minimum essential requirements of a virtual tax office are, and that is a tax preparation solution that is browser-based, like TaxWise Online, electronic signatures, and online document storage. That's the bare minimum for you to say, I can operate virtually from any location and any device. Let's take it to the next level, Anthony. What does that mean?
Oh my goodness, let's definitely go to the next level. What does that mean? It means that being able to meet your customers exactly where they're at. And how can you meet your clients where they're at? Pretty much by not requiring them to have to come to your office to do business. So the comfort of their own device is important. I know we are definitely creatures of habit, so we like to use things that are comfortable for us. And pretty much and 9 times out of 10, and this is, I mean, this is 2021, more than likely it's gonna your engagement with your client is gonna start with their phone and possibly end with the phone. More than likely, that's exactly going to happen. Just bring me one quick. All right, just had to clear one thing over there. So it's going to start with the phone and end with the phone. So we have a mobile interview tool. I'm going to definitely walk you through what that mobile interview tool looks like, utilizing our actual TaxWise online, utilizing our TaxWise mobile interview section. So bring me one second. I'm going to just bring this item directly up on the screen over here, and I'm going to make my screen go white. And let's go ahead and bring up what the mobile interview tool looks like to utilize within TaxWise Online. So I'll bring this up right over here. Now I'm actually going to shrink it down for a reason. And we get this question a lot. A lot of folks are asking, do you have a mobile app? Do you have a mobile app? That's the question that we get a lot. Do you have an actual mobile app? And the reason why we don't have a mobile app is because we have a mobile site. It's very difficult to actually utilize a mobile app for your clients because maybe they don't have a certain operating system, where they have iPhone or where they have Android. It's just difficult. Maybe they don't have enough room on their phone. So we at Wolters Kluwer, we decided let's make a mobile site. And with that mobile site, one of the things that's important is when your customers come to your mobile site, they want to know that they're doing business with you. So we give you the opportunity to customize that mobile site so it could be with your URL. Absolutely. So the name of your firm. So whatever you name it for, if it's Lewis Galvis Tax Preparation Service, it can say Galvis Tax Prep right over here, right? And we also have an opportunity that you can create a QR code. So some of our customers create a QR code of their mobile site and put that on their business card. So if they're meeting clients, you're doing your elevator pitch, take out their phone, take a picture of that, and they can absolutely do that. Now I'm going to show you an opportunity I'm going to show you a firm, a tax office that it's one of our customers that they came to their mobile site and they customize it. And it's called iTax Mobile. And the whole theme of their business is tax prep on the go. So we provided them with this mobile site and we give you an opportunity to customize it in the settings section. And when you do the customization, you'll see right over here, tax prep on the go. You can change the colors and everything, so the look and feel. So literally, when your clients come to your virtual tax office, they don't think of TaxWise. They think of your company, your business, iTax Mobile. So we want this to be the approach that your customers go through utilizing this tool. Now, this tool can do a lot for your tax office. Number one, it can provide your clients an estimate of their refund. If your clients are existing customers, maybe you did their return last year, they can just skip the estimator and start sending you information. I'll take a few seconds to just walk you through what does it look like to use the mobile site. So a great example would be is which state do you live in? So I'll go ahead and put Georgia. I live directly in Georgia. Have you lived there for the last 12 months? Absolutely. I've also lived there for the last 12 years. Are you married or single? I'm going to put single. Don't tell my wife that I put single. She may get mad at me. Are you a qualifying widower? I'm going to go ahead and say no, I'm not a qualifying widower. Now, how many folks, let's go back to this question I asked earlier. How many folks have, or tax offices that are here today, how many tax offices have bilingual clients, clients that speak English and speak Spanish? Wouldn't this be amazing? Wouldn't this be very helpful if your bilingual clients that speak Spanish can go through this mobile interview in Spanish? Well, absolutely, we definitely can do that. We can change that to Spanish. So we've got this mobile interview that clients can go through on their smartphone or their tablet and then go through it in Spanish, all right? So we can do that. Also, what happens if one of your clients don't understand the question that's being asked? Can you be claimed as a dependent? What does that mean? Well, we'll click on the question mark and we'll get an explanation of that. If we still need any further explanation, that's okay. We have an opportunity where they can click over here to chat with a tax professional. We also have an online chat where you can chat with customers from TaxWise online with the TaxWise mobile customers. Also, the phone number to your tax office they could also call. So, wanted to make sure that we provide that information so that your clients can get a good understanding of what they're being asked. So, we go ahead and say no, we don't have any dependents. What type of income do you have? Do you have employment income, unemployment income, interest income, Social Security, or any other taxable income that you may have? So it gives you the option of flexibility. And right now we're just using this to put a good example of what the actual tax refund will look like for that client. So we're just entering some basic information of this. Now I'm just curious, how many tax offices here today do their marketing through social media? Does anyone on here, I wish I was in person with you. Does anyone on here use use Facebook or Instagram to do some marketing? You have an opportunity to be able to, for your clients to send this link out to just a massive post that you can make. Different people can click on this link and pretty much get an estimate of what their tax refund will be. So the estimator told us that our refund is going to be anywhere from $33,446 to $4,352. Now, what's interesting, here's the actual there's the notation letting them know that this is an estimate, right? So the client still needs you. So we don't want you to think for 1 second that this is going to separate you from the client. The client needs you to review their information, analyze it, apply the tax code, prepare the return, e-file it, put the bank product on there. So the client is very dependent upon you. All you're using this tool is to make it a great way for them to get the information to you from the comfort of their own device, their home, or wherever they may be on the go traveling. Now, if the client likes the refund, they can simply hit continue. And when they hit continue, they can begin sending you the information. They can create a login, username, password, and they could just start sending you information that applies to them and definitely be working through this process of going through. They can put their date of birth in, address. Oops, let's kind of get that going over there. Let me put that information in. One. All right, perfect. They could put their social security number in. Make this up. All right, and they can hit next, and they can put in their actual mailing address. All that information can be entered in. Was your home in the United States for more than half the year? Yes, because these are important questions that need to be answered. Now, would this be a great mobile interview if they weren't able to send you their tax documents? Absolutely. So that same vault that we looked at earlier, clients can come over here, select the file to upload, and they can actually bring in their tax documents. So their actual driver's license, here's a driver's license we could bring in, and their W-2 they can submit. So you can do that, select the state that this is in, and we can go ahead and enter in that W-2 information and submit that, right? Just like the W-2, we can grab this W-2 and put this W-2 in here and click open and bring a W-2 in here. So a lot of helpful information that they could enter in directly into the mobile site to make it easy for you to interact with them and send you the information. Now, if you want to do advances, you can have this question here for advances. Would you be interested in applying for an advance of your refund? And you can say yes or no. If you say yes, it begins the disclosure information for bank product determination. They could begin that and they can sign off on that. So it's a very helpful tool. One thing I do want to add too is that as they're picking and selecting these documents, when they're on their smartphone, they can take a picture of these documents with their smartphone. So they can use their smartphone to take a picture of these documents and be able to send it to you. So they don't have to have the file attached to their computer or tablet. They can take a picture of those documents. So let's go through this process. And once they've submitted their interview and sent you all this information, now they're in a position where they have the ability to track the status of their refund. Now, the tax office will come to this section called import interviews. So they'll come to the tax return manager. They'll see the list of interviews that came in. So right now you can see I have 5 mobile interviews that came in. So 5 people came to my mobile site and submitted information to me. I can directly see that. Then I can click over here and enter that information in. So I can see right over there. I'll click on that. Oops. I'll click on that and I'll see that interview that came in. It's timestamped, so you know which what time it came in, what date and time that mobile interview came in, and it's going to load up that return. So a lot of information, as you saw earlier when I was presenting TaxWise Online, a lot of that information automatically got entered in here as I was presenting TaxWise Online, like the address, the email information. So it's helping you as a tax professional, as a tax preparer, to get that information from the client, but it's also taking that burden off of you of having to meet that client in person. Also, if the client is in your office, they could begin doing this in the waiting area, right? As they're waiting to meet with you, as they're waiting for their appointment, they could begin doing that as they're waiting for that particular appointment. So let me just do one little thing right over here, and I'll refresh my page. And once I refresh my page, I'll see those documents appear in my actual vault, and those documents will appear in my vault. So it's a very helpful tool for you to utilize when you're working with your clients.
And Anthony, it's a beautiful thing. We've heard reports from customers who receive interviews from clients that they did not know about. So clients that may have found their Facebook ad out of state or in a whole different time zone, and they just found that paid ad, or maybe through the Facebook page of the company, and they just clicked it and said, you know what, this looks like a good company. I want to do my tax return with Anthony's tax services. I want to go ahead and submit my interview and my source documents, and then the process starts that way. So let's show one more thing before we go into business texting, and that is the client portal. Because Anthony, when we operate virtually, we're operating from anywhere. We may not be in the office half of the time. We could be on vacation, we could be on the go, we could be at home, and we want to have a good way to share documents back and forth. And the client portal accomplishes that, versus sending emails back and forth with attachments of tax returns, which is absolutely the wrong thing to do these days, because there's a lot of sensitive information there. And as a matter of fact, some states actually prohibit emailing tax returns via a PDF attachment.
Absolutely. So if you could see my screen, Luis, I have both sides up on the screen. I have the actual tax office view. So this is what the tax office is seeing. And then I have the actual tax documents over here. Just bear with me 1 second. I got one little slight sound here. That's one little echoing thing that's coming out here. I just want to clear that little echoing. All right, perfect. So you can see right over here, the tax office side is over here on the left side, and you can see the documents 2015, 2016, 2017. You can see the allocation of all the documents year by year. But then over here, you can see the actual tax documents for the tax client. So the right-hand side, Anthony, he's the tax client, and this is the tax office. So when I click over here on documents, you'll see here's the exact same documents over here. So if a tax office wants to upload a tax document, I simply come over here and click upload and grab a document. So let's say I'm going to upload this tax return, and I uploaded it just like that. Then what's going to happen, I'll be able to see this information. The tax office will be able to see those tax documents as to what just got uploaded. So I'll come right over here, and I'll see that tax documents right over here, listed over here, October 21st, 1:35 p.m. Eastern. Now, why is this valuable? How many of you folks, how many of you tax offices have clients that lose their tax return? They actually lose the tax return that you gave them all the way back in February, right? And then you got to print another copy. Now, I'm sure some of you tax offices charge a reprint fee, like a $25, $30 reprint fee. Well, in this case scenario, instead of you having to reprint 30, 40 pages of a tax return, do it digitally. And many tax offices have decided to say, you know, I'm going to charge an actual a fee for them. I'm going to charge a fee, a technology fee. So having the opportunity to have these tax documents here, it's very helpful for tax offices to stay engaged with their clients, whether due to COVID or what's going on, wherever that client is. If you have clients that are out of state, utilizing our client portal is very helpful. And there's
That's
something
right.
else that's going to be very helpful. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say a quick question from the Q&A. Somebody asking, so can you just give me a quick overview of the Vault versus the client portal? And the answer is just very simple. Your client portal, think about it as your virtual PO box. The tax preparer goes and deposits a document digitally in the locked PO box virtually on the cloud. The taxpayer goes in and retrieves that document securely because they also have the key. Now, with the vault that you see in TaxWise Online, that's the replacement of your filing cabinets. That's where you store your own tax documents, source documents for the customer. So that's essentially yours to keep, whereas the client portal is that two-way communication between the two.
Absolutely. No, well said, Luis. I'm pulling one back up over here on the screen. That's a well said. That vault is internal. That's for you, where you're storing your work papers, your because you got to think about it, the work papers, the W-2s, 1099s, all those documents are going to be stored here internally. What you're sending out to that client, when you're sending out to the client, is a client portal. Now, here's one thing. I would recommend the client portal for clients that are Schedule Cs, businesses. If you're doing other services for clients, maybe some of you folks, some of you tax offices have insurance agencies, some of you do bookkeeping, payroll. I would recommend the client portal for those business clients. And then those are the clients that may need it, especially, or clients that typically, maybe they're refinancing their mortgage and they need a couple years of tax documents, or maybe you did some help for them for the with the pandemic. Maybe they had a PPP applications, EIDL loans. It was a series of documents you had to correspond with back and forth with that client. That's where I would use a client portal in that case scenario. I hope that helps.
That's right. And so, Anthony, with that, let's go ahead and move on to business texting, which is another way to enhance your virtual tax office. You're set up with your tax preparation solution. You are set up with your electronic signatures, with your digital storing of your documents. You now can share documents securely back and forth. Let's communicate with the customer effectively via business texting. We have partnered with Textalent to provide you with a solution that allows you to do that and streamline that process. And I want to bring in Majid Gadiali from Textalent. Welcome to the webinar. Can you tell us a little bit about business texting? What is it all about, and how does it help our tax preparer customers enhance their operations right now by attracting and retaining more customers?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Louis, and great presentation, Anthony. I wish we had these beautiful features, time-saving features back in 2006 when me and my wife ran multiple tax offices back in for 10 years. She is the accountant. I was her admin assistant, if you will. And through that process, TaxRent was born. This was born out of necessity to allow tax professionals stay in touch with their clients and prospects throughout the year, but especially during the tax season. So here we'll just quickly go over a couple of reasons in a couple of slides here. On the next slide, we tell you one main reason why texting is useful for a tax office. And that reason is that number, 99% of text messages are read within 90 seconds. So all of the different communication channels, especially when you are running the office virtually, texting can be the fastest way to get in touch with your clients and prospects and get the information you need to finish the return, or even remind last year's customers to come back and do the returns again. Virtually having the links to the to the client portal where they can upload the documents, and having linked to the mobile side where they can go and do certain prerequisite steps. All of that becomes much more easier if you are having a communication channel with texting. So that is the first reason. Going on the next slide, we will quickly talk about how on the next slide, we have certain things that we enable on top of just regular texting. All of us have a smartphone these days, and we all know how to do texting from a friends and family perspective. When it comes to business, there are certain things that are best practices. So I'll explain some of those to you here on this slide. On the left-hand side, you see a phone where you have received a text message from a 5-digit short code number. That's what it's called, short code. The moment you get it, you know it's coming from a computer, because you and I cannot text like that. When we text, our phone numbers show up. That's what we do. That's on the right-hand side. You see a phone number. What we can do is text enable your existing office number, which is a landline, add texting to it, or get your new number in your area code dedicated to your office. And then you can send text messages. They can have pictures, they can have the name of the customer, they can have your name, very personalized experience. Your customers can reply back, and you can have forward back and forth conversation, very relationship oriented conversational experience. And your client will feel very good about it, saying, wow, I'm getting this premium treatment from my tax professional. And the good thing is you don't have to do it on your little phone screen and phone keyboard. All of this can be right inside your TaxWise online software. So that is the channel of communication which builds relationship. On that foundation, on the next slide, we'll talk about how we save more time for you guys. Just like in the spirit of time-saving features that we just went over, there are additional features here that can automate certain communication, because I know, having done the tax business for over 10 years, it's a high-pressure situation. Within the 3 months, it used to be 3 months, now for the last couple of years, it's been a little bit longer. But 3 months, you're doing your annual income pretty much. And so you want to be on top of things. You don't want to save time. So some of these things, working directly with your TaxWise online as well as TaxWise desktop software, inviting your last year's clients back according to the date they came last year. Early season customers get invitations early, late season customers get invitations late. In those invitations, we can include a link. So they can click on the link. On the next slide, you will see they can book an appointment directly. And that page could be a landing, could be a page which is branded for your logo, your colors, and shows your availability. And the customer can book an appointment. This could be a virtual appointment. Then when they get appointment confirmation, they get appointment reminders, they get when the return is complete, they get a referral request, a thank you message, asking them to send me friends and family, even leaving me online reviews. And we know online reviews go a long, long way in boosting your new client acquisition. The idea is, how do you retain your current clients and how do you improve your retention? And then if you go to the next slide here, there are certain features which are done specifically for the TaxWise online software, where we can send return accepted and refund ready beautiful messages, right? Those of you who are doing bank products, your customers don't want anything more than the notification that, hey, my refund is ready. As soon as the bank releases the refund, they get a text message, hey, your refund has been sent to your bank account, or the check is printed in the office, come and pick up the check with your photo ID. Or if those people who are doing straight e-file, for example, they get, hey, your return has been accepted, congratulations, it's a closure for this year. All of this happens entirely automatically, and you get to save your time while your customers feel like, wow, I'm getting all these great messages and the things that I want from my tax professional, and they are paying me so much attention. So now, without any further ado, let's actually show you just a quick glimpse of how this works in the back end.
Yeah, and I'll show you one thing, Majid, which is my favorite thing to show for business texting. I'm in a tax return in TaxWise Online. Again, it's a browser-based solution, so all I have to do is to log into a web browser. When I have connected my Textalin account to my TaxWise Online, I can click text messages right here at the top. And not only will I be able to engage in two-way texting with my customer, but I can also revisit any text history that I've had with them since the beginning of my Textalin, integration with TaxWise Online. So I could go back and say, okay, this is what we talked about last year. This is what we had agreed upon. But I like to show it because it is real-time texting. So as you mentioned, it is my office phone number that has been text enabled. So it's not coming from a 5-digit phone number, it is coming from a real phone number. So I'm just texting myself now. I'm playing the role of the customer. I received the text message, so I'm going to reply back with hello, and I want you to see how that appears in real time, because I think it's really nice and really innovative the way it not only communicates, live, but also the way it saves and stores all the information. So Majid, that's my favorite thing to show. I'm glad I got to do it. I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can actually show some of the automated campaigns that I know will mean, a lot in terms of retaining and attracting new customers. So let me see if you can see your presentation rights. I'm making you a presenter right now. You should be able to see your screen right this moment.
Yes, are you able to see my screen here?
Yep, we can see it.
Fantastic. So what Louis showed you is how individually you can send a message, and that could be for any reason. We have thousands of tax professionals using this technology, and they can say, hey, you forgot certain document. Let's say your kid's school ID card that I need to finish the EIC paperwork. And so, for example, so this is how it'll be your texting inbox, just like your email inbox, and all of this will be displaying right within your TaxWise online software. Or if you're using TaxWise desktop, it is a simple link on using a browser, you could access it. So in this case, let's say I'm doing the tax return of the late Walt Disney, and I say, hey, I need your your kid's photo ID, and here he says, okay, here it is, my kid's photo ID there, and and here I have the information I need. Now, if they have sent me something in the past, I can always go into the attachments, and that'll list all the documents there. It's securely stored on our server within your account. This is your texting inbox. You can send messages for any reason, at any time. You can use emojis. You can use attached pictures. You can include canned messages, which are predefined answers to some frequently asked questions. All of that will save you time. So this is one mode of texting already available within the service, which is the one-to-one conversational texting. The second part is the automated messages. We call them campaigns. These are not really campaigns per se, but these are touch points. You could send messages like birthday greetings to your clients and their spouses on their respective birthdays. And the beautiful thing is, like I said earlier, entirely automated. The information comes from your TaxWise Online or TaxWise desktop software that triggers the happy birthday greetings. You can modify the template, change the picture, and it'll go out every day of the year on time, every time, making them feel great. And this is one way you can generate a lot of referrals and retain your current clients as well. Inviting your last year's clients back, like I said earlier, 21 days before they came last year, they'll get the first reminder. So for example, let's say somebody came to you last year on February 20th. Minus 21 days, say January 30th or so, they'll get the first invitation to, hey, come on back, let's do your return. As you can see, it is entirely timed automatically. If they don't come, another message goes out 10 days later. If they still don't come or pay attention, another message goes out 3 days later. And if they do respond to one of these and do the return, and by the way, you can include the link to your mobile website here and say, hey, you can get started by clicking this link and start uploading your information, or your client portal makes things very, very seamless and easy for your clients. Referral requests can go out when the return is complete. This first campaign stops automatically, and a day after the return is complete, they will get a thank you message. A few days later, they'll get a review message saying, hey, can you leave me a 5-star review on my Google or Yelp page? A great way to increase your online presence. All of these campaigns work entirely automatically, and the special 2 campaigns that work specifically with TaxWise Online, when the return is accepted, they'll get a congratulations message, versus when the refund disbursement is ready, they get a message also. All of this works entirely automatically, saving you time. Now, the last item I'll show you here quickly is you could create your own campaigns. So for example, around holidays, or for example, if you want to say push your bookkeeping services to your Schedule C clients, you can do that. You can send out tips and about IRS fraud issues that are going on. These campaigns can be created within literally 5 minutes and sent out to hundreds of your clients immediately, and each one of them will feel as if they got it personally from you. We even make it even easier by adding templates that are ready for you. Click the rocket launch icon and you get to see what is the picture inside. This is the one for those of you who celebrate Halloween. You could send out this kind of message around Halloween or coming up in Thanksgiving. You can have nice templates ready from us. On a click of a button, you can send it out to all of your clients. Great way to build rapport, remind them about you right before the tax season. Happy holidays, happy new year, and right then there's a tax season. So we make all of this available to you. To get you started, I just wanted to explain to you there is a page, a landing page that the nice folks at Wolters Kluwer have put together. And I'm sure we can share this link in the chat window for everybody. You can go there, watch a little video explaining it. You can set up a one-on-one consultation with one of our team members to walk you through, or you can sign up for a free trial. Last screen here, when you click on that link, you will see a page like this. It does ask for payment, but we don't charge you anything until your free trial period is done, and we are happy to offer you a full 30 days. There is special pricing with our partnership with TaxWise, better than our retail pricing. So do not sign up from our main website, sign up through this landing page. And last item, when you sign up, you get to book an appointment with one of our team members. At that time, they'll walk you through step by step by step. By the time you hang up the phone, you're fully up and running. Then you have 30 days to see it in action. And we would like for you to try it out this tax season.
That's right, Majid, and we will share the link to that page that you were showing where they can find more information about business texting via Textalent, which is integrated with both TaxWise Desktop and TaxWise Online, because we had a couple of questions in the Q&A whether this is available to both.
And let me share something, Luis. Sorry for cutting you. Let me share something about Textalent. I've used it in practice for the last about 18 months or so, going up on 2 years, and it's a fantastic tool. I had to turn my Textalent off because I was getting too many referrals. You know, when you do a client's return in February and, you know, they get into Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, Happy Birthday, it really builds good rapport with the client. So I'm a testimonial. I've used the product. You be prepared for a lot of referrals and a lot of happy customers. So this is kind of
from a real customer, Anthony. That's great. So let's recap a lot of the things that we discussed during the webinar as we're wrapping up our session time for today. So Anthony, you talked a lot about the virtual tax office solutions and what each one of those components are. So take us through everything that we covered today in a high-level summary, just to bring it all in.
Absolutely, Luis. It's been a pleasure. And so definitely, it's going to start off with TaxWise Mobile. So your client's going to be able to get those get those documents to you mobilely from their smartphone or their tablet. They're definitely going to be able to do that. We also, what's going to happen is those documents are going to flow over to you, the tax office, to prepare that returns. Just because we have a mobile device, it doesn't mean the client doesn't need you. The clients still need you as their tax and accounting professional to prepare that return. Those documents are going to go into the vault, and that's where you'll be able to have 24/7 access of those documents from your web browser. It's encrypted and it's secure, such as the W-2, the 1099, things of that nature, also the driver's license. Now, what's amazing is many tax offices offer bank products. So since you're offering settlement solutions, then your clients can sign those settlement solutions from their smartphone with the e-signature option. So they can sign their tax return and they could sign for their bank product settlement solutions. Now, when you have those clients where you're doing just going above average for those clients, you have a lot of documents. They've been a client for you for many years, multiple years, and the client maybe the client's being audited, or maybe the client's applying for a mortgage, and you've got to send a lot of documents to the client. Utilize our client portal to be able to share a multitude of documents, a large amount of documents with those clients, so they can be able to gain access to what they need in a secure, encrypted fashion. Now, Luis, do we have a slide that talks about the full integration or the partial integration? Do we have that slide?
That's right.
next?
That's exactly the next one, because that's one of the main questions we get. Okay, you showed a lot of information, a lot of solutions. How do I get started? And do I have to implement all of that right off? So let's talk through that, Anthony. I know it is one of the slides that you like to cover because it really takes them a step back, the tax preparers, and it puts them in a position where, okay, maybe it's not that much to start off. I can do a partial implementation first before I move into a full implementation. So what does that look like?
Absolutely, Luis. This is fantastic. So starting off with a good tax compliance solution, a good tax preparation solution, TaxWise Online, that's going to be powering your virtual tax office. So think of TaxWise Online as your platform that runs your virtual tax office. And on that platform, you have your online document storage, the vault, and then you have your electronic signature. So at least you'll be able to service your clients. Now, when you're ready to go to the next level and expand your business and grow your business virtually, that's where you'll add on the actual TaxWise mobile solution so that you'll be able to use mobile. Then think about it. If you're doing your text messaging campaigns, you can send out a text message campaign of the mobile link, introducing everyone to the mobile site. So on January 1st or in December, you send out, hey everyone, welcome to our new virtual tax office. Here, click on this link to go to the TaxWise mobile site. So that's using the business texting. Folks, a testimony from a real customer who's actually paid and used TextLint, using the mobile site to blast out your mobile link, TaxWise mobile link. Sorry, using business texting to blast out your TaxWise mobile site is very helpful with your clients. And then utilizing the client portal to store years and years of information for your larger clients is very helpful. So you can do a full implementation or a partial implementation, but our account managers are here to assist you whatever kind of implementation process you want to incorporate in your tax office.
That's right, Anthony. And so with that, let me go ahead and launch a polling question for the audience today. And that polling question is simply asking, would you like to receive a phone call from a solutions consultant to learn more about TaxWise? And what typically happens here is our territory-based solutions consultants will call you, if you answer yes, please, to do a consultation. So they focus on tax preparation businesses in your area that face the same challenges. Let's say you're in Florida. So there are particular set of challenges that you have there that may differ from Georgia or New York, et cetera. So those territory-based solutions consultants will talk to you a little bit about things that are facing your specific demographic area. So it's a great consultation call. They'll talk to you about the virtual tax office, whether your business is a good fit. They will answer questions about desktop versus online. So it's a great call to have. Typically lasts anywhere from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, maybe, depending on how long you want to stay on. But somebody in your area or somebody that focuses on your area will give you a call. Now, if you're already using TaxWise Online, that's great. If you're using TaxWise Desktop and you would like to learn more about TaxWise Online, still select yes, please, because we know that you're a TaxWise Desktop, and we'll have somebody call you to talk a little bit more about TaxWise Online specifically. Now, by the way, for those of you who are using TaxWise already, when you switch your account to a TaxWise Online account, you receive complimentary access to TaxWise Desktop. Now, it is there just in case you don't have internet for some reason, or internet is slow, which doesn't happen very often these days anymore. But you do have that backup there with the TaxWise Desktop solution, where you can actually, worst case scenario, prepare a tax return in desktop, upload it to online when you're back online, and then e-file it from the TaxWise online solution. So you essentially get both if you're a TaxWise online user. So we'll give you a couple of seconds to answer the polling question. Again, if you say yes, please, we'll give you a phone call within the next 24 to 48 hours, and one of our territory-based solutions consultants will just give you a friendly call and talk about your business and see how we can help you out for the following year. So Anthony, anything else you want to add? Lots of questions in the Q&A. We have, of course, a lot of feedback from current customers that are using TaxWise Online today. We have a lot of customers that are using desktop that are now considering switching to online, and a lot of tax professionals that are not using a TaxWise solution that are now considering moving to a virtual tax office. And Anthony, if you were to put everything in one sentence, what is the main reason that somebody should make the switch to a TaxWise online virtual tax office?
Absolutely. I would say flexibility. Having the flexibility to be able to have your team members, whether they're remote, working from home, or working at different locations, whether you have multiple offices, flexibility. And one thing I want to say, I know we had closed the poll, but if you're a current TaxWise Online customer and you want to learn more about the mobile site, or you want to learn more about adding in business texting, still type yes in the chat box like that. Grab our attention, get our attention, so we can talk to you more about how to incorporate that for this tax season, for this upcoming season, to get you ready. But absolutely, I'd love to take questions. We got a few minutes here. I'd love to take a couple questions before we wrap up, Luis.
Yeah, so another question that I saw in the chat, if you can give a high level desktop versus online, specifically to TaxWise, when should I use either or? So a lot of TaxWise desktop users, of course, because that's what we've had for so many years. And by the way, as I say that, TaxWise Online has been in existence since 2007, I believe. Don will certainly correct me if that's the wrong date, but 2007. So it's been a solution that's been in the industry for so long. But because TaxWise Desktop has been in the industry since 1986, we have a lot more desktop customers. Yeah, and the last question we'll address is one that I saw twice in the Q&A, and that is, if I'm using a desktop solution, whether it's, I'm assuming they didn't say what solution they were using, but whether it's desktop or TaxWise or a competitor desktop solution, can you still convert your tax return information into the online? And the answer, Anthony, is yes, absolutely. So what will happen is, it's much easier if you're already a TaxWise desktop, because everything happens for you automatically, seamlessly. So when you switch your account from TaxWise desktop to online, all of your returns that you have in TaxWise desktop will be carrying over to the next year for you. So when you type in the social security number in online, the information will populate right there automatically. You don't have to do anything. Now, if you're not using TaxWise desktop, let's say you're using a competitor tax software that is a desktop solution, what we'll do is we'll convert your desktop tax returns from the solution you are on right now, and then we will convert the information into TaxWise desktop and carry it over to the TaxWise online solution for you. So we don't want you to rekey all the information. That's not the way it's supposed to work. We want to make it easy. And really the best thing to do is to start a trial. You won't know if you like it or if it feels right until you actually give it a shot. So if you visit our landing page that you see on screen, engagetax.wolterskluwer.com/virtual tax office, you can click to activate a free TaxWise online trial where you can actually prepare a few returns. The flexibility, Anthony, that you mentioned is what is key with the virtual tax office solution. So we'll stay here for the next couple of minutes answering any questions in the Q&A, but we'll go ahead and wrap up our live feed. Thank you everybody for attending. Thank you, Majid, and thank you, Anthony, as always, for a very insightful presentation. Bye-bye, everybody.